right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We're not live. We're here, though.
We are live. We're live.
Live.
We're live in a way.
Yeah, we're living it up on Relaxed Retro Talk. This is episode 16. That's crazy. We've made that many.
Yeah, it's great.
Today we're talking about just gaming soundtracks, just how good they are, and
some of our favorites.
Yeah, some of our favorites, just across time and space, I guess. And not, I don't know. Do you want to start like early and work your way up, or do we want to just give our balls?
Well, I think we should just kind of throw it all over. But I mean, the thought behind this one had come where, you know, we were playing games, and we've had this conversation before, particularly around, I think we were talking about Castlevania in a previous episode.
Yeah, we had.
And we were just talking about, like,
I think it was like our horror games episode, probably like exactly 1 year ago today, because it would have been
well, I mean, that's right. Yeah, it'd be around there. And I mean, and the thought process there was that, you know, for a game that was made in 1987,
well, I don't know what year, but
something like that, for a game that was made back then with an 8-bit cartridge, like on the Nintendo, so you had to fit the music in there with everything else.
Yeah,
they were able to come out with these absolute banger masterpieces. So we got to talking about like soundtracks, and then, you know, and then that rotated into video games live. Do they still do video games live? Is that a thing still?
I was talking to somebody about it on stream not too long ago, and they said that they had one. I don't know if it was I was talking to my buddy Sean. He said they had one in Regina like 2 years ago, and he said it was kind of shitty.
No.
And then they just haven't been back. So.
Oh, okay.
But they were good. Like have you been to one? Like we went to one or two of them in Saskatoon. I don't know if.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went to the one with you in Saskatoon that one time. I think you had gone to another one after that.
Yeah.
But the one that we had gone to was just phenomenal.
It's amazing,
right?
dude.
And it's a testament to, and I mean, honestly, that was the whole purpose of it even existing to begin with. But it's a testament to how, you know, absolute artistic and
how much passion,
and beautiful, and just just the fact that music that someone's going to be like, you know, those are beeps and boops, has been, you know, transformed into this orchestral masterpiece music, and then that's what we have now today, right? So I mean,
it's crazy,
and it's where it came from. So I mean, as far as it goes from going in like chronological order, I say chuck them out there. We'll figure it out as we go, right? But I mean, you know, since we're kind of already on the topic, Castlevania is one of the ones that I have on my list here. That is like, and through, I can't think of a Castlevania game that doesn't have a good soundtrack.
Yeah, there's a couple series like that.
The game might not be so great, but the soundtrack is good.
Yeah, there's a couple series like that. Like it's almost like they set the bar so high with like the first one or two that they're like, okay, we have to have good music right across the board. Like you look at the Mega Man series, you got the same thing going on.
That's another one. Yep.
The Kirby series, like, it's not known for like absolute bangers, but that shit is catchy and fun, and it's all good. Like
the main Kirby theme is
even like the TMNT games, like even the first Ninja Turtle game on NES. A lot of people don't like that game. I'm not a big fan of it either, but the music in that game is absolutely stellar, and then in the other ones, it's even better.
The water level, terrible to play. Awesome song.
Even that music was good. Yeah. Despite despite showing up in my nightmares all the time when I was playing it as a kid, but that game was I played a lot of that. I always borrowed it from my parents' friend had it, and their kids were like too young, like they were like way younger than me. Like their oldest kid was the age of my sister. It was my sister's age, and she's like 4 years younger than me. And then their youngest kid was like a friggin' baby. So they were like, well, my kids aren't gonna play this. So I was like, yeah, I'll borrow it. I love Ninja Turtles. And this was before like Ninja Turtles 2 came out, right? So like this was all you had, and it was like I remember getting the Turtle Van, and that's the furthest I ever got back then. And it was like, I was so hyped to get it, but it was just so damn hard. You couldn't do anything.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. And truthfully, I think the only time that I ever saw those later stages was with a Game Genie.
Yeah.
Like there was just no way you were doing that standard. That game was just that game was like at the bar. It was like original TMNT Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think, oh man, it might even, to me, I think it is harder than Ninja Gaiden. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think it is. Here's the thing. I can get to like the final boss in Ninja Gaiden. I cannot do that in TMNT.
That's true. Yeah. They made that extra difficult.
Definitely, yeah.
But I mean, as far as it goes, I hate to keep circling back to Castlevania, but you had posted a cover of Bloody Tears in the Discord.
Oh yeah,
right?
dude!
And
I don't know what the artist's name is, but they do a lot. They do a couple Castlevania
They do a
songs,
lot of them,
and they're so good. So the one guy's like an electric guitar player. Then there's like a chick, she plays the piano, and another chick plays violin, and they are absolutely incredible, dude.
They're
so
phenomenal.
Good.
I'm just scrolling really quick.
Yeah,
to see
it's probably a ways back. It might be in Music Kick.
Tetsuya Fuzuki.
That's the guy. That's the guy.
I don't know. It's got some Japanese characters, and then it says Tetsuya Fuzuki. So, but it's phenomenal. If you search, if you search for Bloody Tears Castlevania cover, you'll find it. It'll be the top one. They're all dressed in like
gothic
gothic looking,
clothing.
yeah, and it's beyond phenomenal.
So good.
But the thing is, okay, so that cover is amazing. But then you hear Bloody Tears in Castlevania 2, right?
Still friggin' good.
It's just as good.
Yeah, well,
right?
maybe not
like,
just as good,
well,
but it's still good.
Okay, but I guess what I'm saying is it gets the same kind of feeling out of you, right? Like it's just so good, and that's a true mark of like a brilliantly composed song, right?
Yeah,
because like
so
it can transcend. It can transcend from 1988, 89 through to 2021 and still be amazing, no matter what it is that's pumping. You can pump it out as a techno remix; it'll still be amazing because it's based on that, right?
The other crazy,
and I think that's a calling card for those for that type of music, anyway.
The other thing that's crazy is I think I can't remember because I watched videos on it like a long time ago, but it's either the Game Boy or the NES only had like 4 tracks on it for audio. Like you could only use.
Oh really?
So you could have like your little like your like hi-hat sound right on one track,
like
and that's all that track does. And then
you
had like a bass, and then you had like a drum, and then you had like a rhythm. So and like you had such limited stuff you're working with, and just making
you're able to pull that
music.
off.
Well, and look amazing. At Mega Man too, right? Like every Mega Man song is good, like every single one, and that's how Castlevania is. That's how Mega Man is. Final Fantasy, Nubo Uematsu is just like shitting out thunder, like the greatest songs of all time on like 8-bit, 16-bit, like 32-bit consoles. Like holy shit.
That's just it. Like as you cross, so the intro, the main Final Fantasy theme is it's the same
that
through
Crystal
every game,
Overture,
isn't it? Yeah. And you can just hear it, transform from OG Final Fantasy through to, Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. It's in there. Like it's as you go through the series, it's in there.
Yeah.
But
beautiful.
it's just growing up, right? But it's still the same song they wrote all those years ago.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Another one that I had here was the Legend of Zelda games.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely phenomenal music. Like you hear what they did, the original Legend of Zelda into Ocarina of Time, into Breath of the Wild, like that whole lifespan. It's still the same music, but man, you play Breath of the Wild and you're standing over that cliff looking over Hyrule, and then you hear that Zelda overture come in on the like orchestra.
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap. That is an experience now. It's no longer just like the background music. It's part of the whole experience.
Yeah. That's another thing like Dragon Quest does so well too. Like down to the sound effects. Like you're playing a PS4 game and you go into a cave and it makes that like you're walking down the stairs in the NES game. Like that shit just like drives it home. It's like, oh my god, you just feel like you're home. You feel like you're at home. You're in your bedroom, in your old house. Like it. I think that's why I love Dragon Quest so much. You just feel like you're a little kid every time you pop that stuff on. And that's what I mean. Like there's so many. Dragon Quest isn't known for its like incredibly elaborate songs. Like Dragon Quest VI probably has the best soundtrack out of all of it, and that's like the worst game. But all of them they're very like organy, like churchy kind of
right? Like
some of them, yeah,
like
some or like
kind of?
fluty. Like some of them are very fluty.
Yeah.
But they're very like catchy and like very mood setting more so than anything, right?
Yep.
So you've got your stuff like Final Fantasy, even all the way back to Final Fantasy 1, like that Mount Gulag theme is like one of my favorite tracks from the whole series. That like that's so good. And then they bring it back very subtly in Final Fantasy IX when you're in that snowy mountain and you're down inside like at the caves there, and in the background all you can hear is and it's like, holy shit, like I just love when games carry themes.
Absolutely.
Or they take an old theme and they make a part of that theme into the song from the new one. So it's so it's not just that song, but they're using that original song and putting parts of it in there, and I just love when series do stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Xenoblade Chronicles, another one that's got a soundtrack that fits like just like perfect. Those are that's when you're talking about mood setting, like that it's the right music at the right time to set the mood, and it becomes like, again, it's just part of the experience now, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
In some of the older games, the NES games, it's background noise because there's no voiceovers, there's no nothing, so it's got to do something in order to set the stage for you. Whereas now they do have those voiceovers, they hire professional voice actors to do this stuff, so now they have to stitch that music in a way that it when it hits those climax moments of the story, that music has to hit at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of sends a chill up your spine, you know.
Yeah, totally. The Final Fantasy VII, the first time you see Sephiroth in Nibelheim, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's already ominous as it is, and then when you see Sephiroth, then the choir comes in. Oh
yeah.
Right. But up to that point, it was just bum bum, bum bum, bum bum,
and it just
like,
slowly
just
amps.
that whole and then he turns around and the whole town's on fire, and it's just like oh yes, because it's just enough to just rip you right into that, and you're like, what is happening? So, to jump back to the SNES really quickly again, and I mean, I guess Genesis stuff too, Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, Street Fighter.
Guile's theme, Ryu's theme, right? So many good music pieces.
So much good.
So good.
So much good.
So much good. So great. All the musics are great. No, the Street Fighter series, and then again, you know, carrying through, because obviously you've got like your fighters' themes, right? But like that Ryu theme, the Guile theme, probably the most notable for me.
Ken, Zangief, Red Cyclone. Yeah. Look up anybody listening to this once the podcast's over, of course. Look up I think it's he goes by Beefy or MC Beefy. He does like his Red Cyclone like rap cover is so good. Oh my god. So good.
Amazing. Yeah. Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, that's a solid. All three of them. Well, I haven't played the third one, but the first two, solid the whole way through.
The underwater ambience song.
That's so good, dude.
That song still gives me chills when I hear it, because it's just so good.
What's crazy is if you think about it, like especially when the NES came out and when the Atari was kind of king, even. Consoles were like almost billed more as like toys, like. You know what I mean? They weren't what they are today.
They were marketed as toys to children.
Yeah, and then meanwhile you've got Nobuo Uematsu, who's like, no. I am going to compose the greatest thing you have ever heard.
I'm making art,
and I'm going to stuff it in this little plastic box. For the kids to enjoy. Like it's crazy to think about that. and then same with Donkey Kong Country. It's like, okay guys, we're gonna make this stupid monkey game, and this guy's like, no.
This isn't gonna be just any monkey game. This is gonna be the monkey game.
Yeah.
No, when we talk about composers, Uematsu comes to mind for me number one.
Yeah, I think
every
he's
single
the best.
Time.
Consistently
not
the
only
best.
From the Final Fantasy point of view, but I just finished Chrono Trigger for the first
Chrono
time.
Trigger's music is
my
tier.
God, that was amazing. That like the music in that, we've been talking about experiences, setting the mood and all of that stuff. The music in that game, I can't think of a game that's even comparable. In all my time of playing of gaming, all of my time of gaming, I don't think that I can even compare a single game to that one because of how amazing. Not only, and I mean, obviously, you have a dream team, building the game, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, from a music point of view, it's just like phenomenal music, right?
Perfect.
Like, you hear any time that you get the opportunity to listen to those songs, like an orchestra type of way. It's just it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The music is just beautiful.
And the thing
Frog's theme, like, oh man, it's so good.
The thing is, like we were talking about just a second ago, how you've got your absolute bangers like Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 4, Final Fantasy 7, and then you've got your set the tone music, right? Where it's like, like for example, Xenoblade Chronicles, love the music. If I heard a song from Xenoblade, I probably wouldn't even know it's from Xenoblade. But
you pick up the pan flute, and that's about it.
Yeah, but the music is perfect for that,
Correct.
right? Setting the tone.
In that moment.
Chrono Trigger does a perfect job of blending them, because you've got, not only do you have the most memorable fucking song of all time, but you've also got Frog, who's like, it's conveying this feeling of picking himself back up, and we can do this, you guys. And it's like do, 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 and it's just building up, right?
Oh yeah,
and he's charging up his sword to cut that mountain in half and shit.
Yes.
It's the perfect mix of both of those things.
It absolutely is. And I mean, and again, to kind of talk back to the original point with Video Games Live, you take these songs, put them into the orchestra, right? And then bring people out for that. And you wouldn't even know it was a video game if it wasn't literally told you. Like, it's that good. It's absolutely so good. That good.
I think people would be surprised. Like, if you took someone that was like a fan of like classical music or something like that, right? And you took them to something like that, and it wasn't blatantly called Video Games Live. Yeah, I think these people would be like, "Holy shit, that was really good!" Like.
That's right.
Like, that's how good the music is. It's not good for a video game. It's good. Yeah. It's good.
It's solid across the board music. I find myself, honestly, I'll go onto Spotify. I'll pick up that album. There's a few albums on there where they're the orchestra versions of the Chrono Trigger soundtrack.
You know which album I listen to probably the most for video game soundtracks in my car, though, which is kind of weird?
What's that?
The Outrun soundtracks. Like, all the old Outrun stuff. I like, there's a recording of the live band, and they play like all the Outrun tracks, and I have a copy of like their album on Spotify, and it's so good. I just love it. Like,
really?
Yeah, Outrun's so good because it's like, it's so relaxing, but it's so like, it's just cruising music, you know? Like, it's just perfect for that. Yeah, it's so good.
On the kind of the same vein of that one, Burnout 3 Takedown has to be my favorite soundtrack in a video game ever. Like, when I'm talking like a soundtrack, not like made music like bands, for the game, but
yeah.
When it was back in the day before EA turned into the DLC money hungry group that they are now, they would have these absolute fantastic game soundtracks, and there was some of their music in the hockey games and the golf games and all of those, and then Burnout and Burnout 3 Takedown, probably my favorite of all time, because it was that 2001 2002 era where it's like the pop punk kind of, the pop punk, the emo, that type of music.
Yeah.
My Chemical Romance is on there, but there's so many bands that I had no idea, never heard them before until I played that game. That soundtrack still holds up if that's the kind of music that you're into. And it's just phenomenal. And then Burnout 4 Revenge wasn't quite the same. They went a lot more heavier for it. And so because the thing that I liked about the Burnout 3 Takedown soundtrack was that it's upbeat, it's peppy.
Yeah.
It really gets
it's
you
having
amped.
fun and also amping. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the thing that I really like with what they did with the Burnout games is that they would play the track while you're driving, but it would just be the background like guitar and bass, and so it'd be a little bit more like quiet.
Oh.
And then when you hit your booster,
they crank it up. Yeah.
They crank the music up, and then all the vocals would come in, and then it would just be like, and so again, it's kind of feeding into that experience of it.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I want to play it on stream.
Yes, but you'd have to
but I
mute
can't.
that or you get DMCA'd.
That's right, and because since I can't I can't do that, I'd have to replace my own music, which then takes that
part
whole
of the experience. Yeah,
that whole experience is gone just like that, right?
Yeah.
There was another game. Oh, what was the other one you were talking about? Kind of in the same vein.
I have a couple. So the first game I got that had like real people music in it, like actual bands and stuff, was Street Skater on the PS1. And it was like everybody else was playing Tony Hawk and I had Street Skater for whatever reason.
Yep.
And I loved it, but it's probably not as good as Tony Hawk, but it had like less than Jake. There's like H2O, Mad Caddies, Guttermouth, like stuff like that was on their albums. And you could actually take your PlayStation disc and put it in the CD player.
I remember you doing that.
Yeah, and we'd probably listen to Street Skater more than I ever played it even. It was so good.
It's like, here, you want to listen to Street Skater? What is it? Well, it's a PS1 game, but it's got a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, it's so good, dude. There's so many good songs and good bands in there, like... Oh, it's incredible.
I
have
somebody
really compiled a playlist of the Street Skater soundtrack on Spotify. I have that downloaded.
Oh, really?
Too, yeah.
Oh, you gotta share that with me because I do.
Yeah,
it's
so good, dude. I think it's only missing like a couple songs, but it's really good. And then the next game, other than like some of the Star Wars games have like it's like like you could put in your CD player and listen to that.
Yeah, your classic Star Wars.
Yeah.
Songs.
But the next one I think that I had with actual music, I think might have been Crazy Taxi. Yeah. Where like it's like, and just like with Burnout, like Crazy Taxi, that is part of the experience. Like you've got the Offspring just screaming in your ear for like the entire time you're playing it. It's so good.
If you take the music out of it, the game's still fun, but I think that takes a big. Well, it takes a big part of the whole game away because it's just so stitched into it.
Yeah,
right.
It is.
It becomes really difficult to remove that out of there.
Yeah, like you post a picture of Crazy Taxi on like Facebook or Instagram, and guaranteed one of your comments is gonna be the whole like start. We're gonna make some crazy money. And it's like, oh man, I was so bad at it too. It's like I always get like I don't even hit the scoreboard at all, but it's such a fun game. Such another one. PS1, like you had so many good soundtracks on like the NES, on the Super NES, stuff like that, and then PS1. Like I think a big part there's two big reasons why I think franchises like Final Fantasy and like Dragon Quest jumped to the PS1 despite being on the Nintendo. The big one for Final Fantasy and stuff was the cutscenes, right? They wouldn't have had enough space on a Nintendo 64 cartridge. But the fact that now your soundtracks can be basically orchestral because it's CD quality is like, oh man, they really stepped their game up there. But I guess before I jump into that stuff, I do want to talk about how incredible all the Mega Man music is. Like the theme song for this damn podcast is Crashman's theme. And it's like
that's right.
Like it's just there's so many good bangers.
So many good.
They're all
Mega
good.
Man and it's amazing because they've made so many.
Yeah, and they all still actually Mega Man 11 kind of sucked music wise, like the newest one. But
well, I think they're allowed to have one.
Yeah, yeah. But they're all good. They're all good. Other than that one,
that's just
so
yeah. I mean, and it's not like they don't reuse music from one game to the next, right? Like it's all original content.
Yeah,
right.
It's so good.
do they use the same Mega Man theme? Like dun, 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 dun,
Sometimes they
Mega Man
will,
2?
like at the intro or outro sometimes,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it's all pretty much
all
original
fresh.
stuff. It's so crazy.
That's really cool.
That they can consistently, because there was 6 Mega Man games on the NES, and they all
That's
have
right.
incredible soundtracks. It's
Yep, and the X games on the SNES also had great
yes,
soundtracks
oh
too.
yeah, so good.
Yep.
But yeah, then you get into stuff like Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy
8
VIII.
had a really good soundtrack.
8 and 7.
Nine was. I mean, honestly,
They're all so
honestly,
good,
I think
dude.
I can't think of a Final Fantasy that had a bad soundtrack.
Yeah, same.
Right? Like, I mean, they were all good. 7 was really good. 8 I thought was really 8's soundtrack was a selling point of the game as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't really remember the game all that much. I just remember not liking it a lot, but it's been a long time since I've been back to it. But the soundtrack there, amazing.
So
Chrono
good.
Cross.
Chrono
also
Cross is
soundtrack.
probably my favorite soundtrack of all time. Like game soundtrack.
That is another soundtrack that's really, really good.
It's so good because a lot of it
the game wasn't fun when I played it the first time.
A lot of it
really good on the second go.
is Chrono Trigger tracks just like redone, like evolved,
right?
With more like tropical themes or something like that, and it's so well done. Yeah. It's incredible, especially that intro song is the best. I can't remember.
Good.
Time Scar, is that what it's called? I can't remember.
Yeah,
but it's
something like that.
It's probably the best video game song of all time, I think.
That one was so good. It also makes me think of the original Soul Calibur song,
oh yeah,
too.
those had some good tracks.
A tale of swords and souls,
Yeah.
eternally retold. Right?
Those had some good tracks.
So good. Or not Soul Calibur, Soul Edge. It was called Soul Edge. That was the first game.
Oh.
So good. And we played that on, that was PS1. That was a PS1 title as well.
Oh, okay.
We played that one.
OG Soul Calibur, but it was on, I think I have it for Dreamcast.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, because they did Soul Edge 1 and 2, and then they went to Soul Calibur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there, so many good tracks, dude.
I got F-Zero's also on my list again.
Ah, yes.
Just like and for me, I know that a song or a game soundtrack's really good when instead of thinking about the game, I'm humming the song.
Yeah.
Right?
You'll catch
right?
yourself.
Yeah.
And then it just builds from there. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Dude.
And then I got 2 more on my list, and they're both in completely different neighborhoods. So Hotline Miami.
Oh,
have you played the Hotline
good.
Miami games?
Hotline. I like the first one so much. Second one's really hard.
Second one's hard, but again, the sound still amazing soundtrack, right?
It's like that.
And another one of those
chiptune-y
ones that, techno-y, chiptune-y.
What do they call it? Is it like
doing
synthwave or some shit? I don't know what
something
it's called.
like that. Yeah. I don't know the terms of it all that much. I just know that it's
good.
very, very good.
Yeah.
And the Mass Effect trilogy I've got on my list here as well.
Oh yeah, they've got some good music.
And again, same thing as Xenoblade Chronicles, where if you took those songs, for the most part, there's a few songs on the Mass Effect soundtrack that I would be able to pick up as a fan of the series, but I think if I played them for anybody else, they would be like, well, okay, this is just some kind of song, right?
Yeah.
But there's those moments where, like, in Mass Effect 2, towards the end, and I won't do any spoilers here, towards the end, Commander Shepard's giving like a pump-up speech to the squad,
right?
And it's like you can hear the music kind of like crescendoing in the background as he's like hitting these main points to pump up the team on their journey to a mission that they have to do.
Right.
I'm cutting all the details.
Yeah.
Spoiler purposes.
Trying to dodge
but I mean,
spoilers.
it's just stuff like that, right? Like,
yeah.
And it's just like that kind of deep space, like tones kind of thing that I find was really good. I thought that was really well done. Mass Effect 3, much more than the other two, really played into a singular song that was mixed a bunch of different ways, so that same kind of main component of the song is stitched into all the other songs, but just in different emotions of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That one was a good one.
There's a lot of games that like even I don't like, but the soundtracks are really good. Like Undertale. Undertale's got a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, that's one I haven't been yet, but I know it's highly. I try to avoid everything on Undertale so that I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But from apparently from a storyline and from a music point of view, it's supposed to be just phenomenal.
Yeah. Everything's garbage but the music, in my opinion. But and then other games, like I'm not a big Halo guy, but goddamn, the soundtrack to
that
the
Halo
to the,
theme,
especially the first one, like there was nothing really else like that at the time. And that's when you were kind of first getting into, like, I can't remember, maybe there was PS1 games like this, but that was when you were really getting into, like, where the music would change based on what's happening in the game. And I'm not just talking about cutscenes. I'm talking about you're running around and all of a sudden there's enemies coming towards you, like, in live gameplay, and the music changes based on that. That was super cool when that started happening.
Yeah, it would have been in some games. I know a lot of PC games use that as a thing, right? Like, the Elder Scrolls games use that quite a bit, right?
Okay.
When you're walking into an area and it'll be like, you know, this kind of ballad, this meadow ballad, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, dun, 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 and then, like, you'd have some kind of enemy somewhere in the distance that'd be running, charging at you, and the game would be warning you that you're about to get killed. Because that's how those games worked. It's like, oh, look, a giant ogre. Well, we can kill him, no problem. Oh, look, a bumblebee. Nope, I'm dead. Those Bethesda games are relentless, man. Like, they don't mess around. But I mean, from a soundtrack point of view, again, the Elder Scrolls 2, just like amazing through and through. Now, I didn't play like Daggerfall and like those first few older Elder Scrolls games. I jumped in Morrowind at number 3, which was phenomenal. Oblivion had just a masterpiece of a soundtrack, and Skyrim it just enhanced on that even more so, right? Right when your guy would do his like Fusro Da, and then it would be music playing off of that too. Again, just phenomenal.
Yeah, I loved that. Like, sometimes you'd be playing a game and you're like walking around on the world map or whatever, and you'd hear like the music starting to amp up, and you're like, okay, what the fuck's going on behind me? Because there's nothing in front of me. And you turn around, and you're like, oh shit, and it's just like blaring the music.
Favorite world map song?
Favorite world map song is probably Marching Through Fields from Dragon Quest VI.
Okay, I was gonna say Final Fantasy 9. Because I love that's just so chill.
That
yeah, it's just so
it's
chill.
Like a weird. I don't even know what they're using for instruments there. It's really weird.
I don't know.
9 definitely has my favorite Chocobo theme though. 9 and 4.
Yeah.
Because there's so many good Chocobo themes, and they're kind of the same, but they're all a little different.
Well, I haven't done 4, but with 9, I would agree with you there. The world map on 9 has been remixed into like some lo-fi songs.
Oh, so really?
I'll play the video game study lounge radio on stream every now and then.
Right, yeah.
And that one will come in through there, and that's the overworld song.
Okay.
And it's perfect for that kind of vibe. Like, it's just like a happier...
It's a good background tune, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like so hard to hum that one, but because
it's
it is
tough.
weird.
That one's tough.
It's a weird song, but
that's
it is
a good one. That's a really, really good one.
Yeah, and then Final Fantasy Tactics had some really good stuff, because you had like they had like the military thing going on at the start, and then it would just like amp up into some really good shit. Like, it'd start off, you'd go into a battle or whatever, and then it'd be like do 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 do, then it'd be like do 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 do, like, it's just like holy shit, like it would just build up and build up. Like, oh my god, man, there's so much good like video game music.
So good.
And then the Metal Gear series, like the Metal Gear games, they have like their own signature themes and stuff that were so good. And they
you know what?
That was another one.
I've never been through the Metal Gear games before. Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, 4, 5. I haven't. I know 5 was supposed to not be so great.
5's really good.
I never
finished it, so the ending's not there. Basically,
doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah. I never jumped in. I should do those games. Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, at least 1, 2, and 3.
1 has kind of aged like shit. In my opinion,
I
a lot of people will be mad at me for that, but I'm a huge Metal Gear fan, and I think it kind of did age like crap. Then there's like Metal Gear 1 and 2 on the MSX. Metal Gear 2 is actually underrated as fuck on the MSX.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, as a new fan, I would recommend probably playing Metal Gear Solid 1, but maybe the GameCube version or something. You've got a Wii, right?
Yeah, I do.
It's not like a Wii Plus. It's like the OG Wii.
It's a standard. I've got a standard Wii, and then I've got a Wii U.
Okay, because with the Wii, I could lend you Twin Snakes, which is a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1. It's a GameCube game, and then I just lend you a GameCube controller, and then you could... Because that's the best way to play that one. There's some stuff that...
I don't even have a GameCube controller.
Okay. There's some stuff they changed in it that's kind of stupid. Like there's a part in the game where like there's a missile being fired at you. In the original Metal Gear Solid, Snake like just like hides behind something so it doesn't kill him. In the remake, it's the company Silicon Knights did the remake, and they've got Snake like backflipping over the missile. Like there's little stupid shit
really?
like that every once in a while, but other than that, it's a pretty good game.
Nice.
I recommend probably that one over the original now. And then Metal Gear Solid 2 is so good. Metal Gear Solid 3 is probably the best one in the series. They're so good. If you ever
that's
get
Snake
to
Eater,
them.
right? 3.
Yep. Yeah, I have them all. So if you want to play them, you can borrow them at any time. I have.
Yeah, I might go down. I'm bad. I'm really, really bad at stealth games, though. Like exceptionally bad. At stealth games.
You have to be pretty decent with the stealth. It's especially in Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. In the third one, you can kind of get away with it because you can just kill everybody. Because you're usually like in the woods and stuff in the third one. So if you kill everybody before they set off an alarm, or if they've set off an alarm and you can find a good spot to hide, you'll be okay. You just wait for shit to die down, then you'll be fine.
Right.
But that's way harder to do in the first two Metal Gear Solid games.
Believe that. Something that just kind of came to mind that I think needs a specific mention. So two games actually. One is the Pokemon series.
Oh yeah, so
which has great. And I mean, from the Game Boy up through to, and I didn't play Sword and Shield, but I can only assume that they kept everything pretty much on par with what they were doing with Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah.
And the other is the theme song for Tetris, right?
So
like what an iconic song.
Yeah.
Because I've got like a Tetris game on my phone. And that's the song that's playing on there. So obviously, it's different.
The OG.
Tetris 99 on the Switch, also the same thing, just a remix, right? Like that classic A theme for Tetris, right?
And then they've got the other one where it's like ding 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 ding. Yeah, it's so good. I'm actually working on a top 10 Game Boy soundtracks video. So. October 30th, I'm going to have my top 10 Castlevania games video go up, and then probably the following month I'll have that game. I'm trying to do one top 10 video a month. I might be able to crap out more, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's kind of what's on the docket there. But before we go, before we continue...
Is that OG Game Boy?
What's that? OG and Color. Because there's like a lot of crossover.
There's a little bit of shift there.
Yeah. But before we keep talking about soundtracks, we should maybe talk about what we did just this past weekend or whatever.
Oh yeah, Spectrefest.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, and it's amazing. I have to look this up now because I don't want to get the number wrong.
We're like 4,700, I think.
Yeah, I got the latest. I got the latest update right here. So the latest update for the for Spectrefest, total raised $4,730.
That's insane, dude.
Which is like, it's funny because I'm going through, like, so when we do streams and stuff, we go through the VODs and we pull out highlights and clips and stuff. And I'm going through the highlights, and where I'm at in the VOD, I think we're at like 2,500, 3,000, and it's just nonstop saying like, "Oh, this is so crazy."
Yeah,
this is so crazy. This is so crazy.
It is.
I got nothing else to say.
It's crazy.
We we set the initial goal at 250 because we were like, no one's gonna want to pay a couple guys playing video games on the internet more than that.
I thought if
right?
if we hit $500, like, holy shit, that's way more than
mission accomplished.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was insane,
and absolutely blew it out the water. And truthfully, everyone's saying congratulations to you and I, like, hey, congratulations, way to go, you did it.
Yeah, we didn't do.
And I can't help but say, you know what? This happened because of our community.
Absolutely.
This happened because of the people who believe in what we do, and the people who are, friends and family, and people who watch the stream, and people who want to be part of the community, and all of you are the reasons why this happened, not us. We sat here and played video games for 24 hours straight. That's it, right? Yep. Now, with that being said, we both kind of donated against each other to make us
to make
some
each other
freaking
suffer
beans
a bit.
or some seeds. But for what it's worth, though, the all of it though is 100% you, and I think it's so hard to say thank you properly, right? Because I don't even know. Like, I don't even I can't put together the words to explain how gracious and grateful I am for the fact of how absolutely generous our community is. So, so we're thinking of a few ways to kind of give back a little bit, right? We're talking about doing some community nights. Some other things too, just to kind of help. Well, not help, but just to say thank you in a way, right?
To give back to the guys that made it. The guys that actually made it a success.
That's right. Yeah. Well, exactly. So I mean, never in my wildest dreams did I think we'd almost crack $5,000.
No shit.
With the donations to this.
Even
right?
even like,
and I mean, and
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it sets the watermark for next year.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm coming away from this too, learning some things that I'm like, okay, next year, how can I be better prepared?
Yeah,
well,
same.
I probably should probably have a full-fledged video game list of everything that I own. And then if I'm gonna have a goal where it's like, hey, you guys can pick a game, probably a good idea to have that menu out there. Yeah. The spicy jelly beans were a massive success.
Yeah.
But I think I'd want to switch it up a little bit so that they're less just like
lava
taking in those heat. And the thing is that where it fell apart was I wasn't eating those in my late night shift, in my 4 a.m. shift.
Right.
So I need to have something for those too.
Yeah.
Right. Just to keep things, because the thing is that at a certain point the chat starts to drop off.
Oh yeah.
People start going to bed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and so in order to keep everybody engaged and keep everybody kind of going, there has to be some kind of momentum there. And so for me, that takeaway is there to kind of, clean up the way and make it a little bit tighter on how we did that. Now, what I'm hoping for next year is that we're done with this COVID stuff.
Yeah.
And then we can have people in the house, right?
Yeah.
The original plan was to do board games too, right? And Finney sent me a picture of this big stack of board games he's got.
Yeah,
they all have
he's
the
got like a whole
shrink
shelf.
wrap on them still. Yeah, it's got the shrink wrap on it still because we got nobody to play with.
Yeah.
And that was the original plan, was to like just run through board games basically for 24 hours straight. And I mean, and honestly, either have a board game channel and a video game channel, or split them up, or mesh them together.
Yeah.
There's so many different ideas, different ways we can do it too. So.
Yeah, I think, and for anyone thinking that we did expect to raise this much, like if anybody's out there thinking that, the first thing that gives away that we had no freaking clue how much we were gonna raise was that all my goals, like donation goals, were like $50 marks, and I reached them all within like the first hour, and I have
we had that talk right before a week before we started. We were kind of doing our final plans, our checklists.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, okay, so here's all the goals that I have. Let's $350.
Yeah, we're
$350 to get all of my goals done. And I'm like, man, I can't even think of 3 goals.
Yeah,
to put on my list.
So I think next year we'll definitely set the bar a little higher for the goals, like $100 or every $200 or something like that. lets you swap a game out. Because, yeah, we had no idea we were going to hit all our goals. I was pulling goals out of my ass. Like, we maxed out all our goals within, like, the first hour. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, Spider-Man was bad. You guys want to see Wolverine? If we hit $600, I'll play Wolverine. Thinking there's no way that's going to happen either. And then within, like, the first block, it was still Wolverine, or we hit Wolverine, I think, in the first block as well. Like, it was crazy.
Yep.
You guys are absolutely crazy, and we thank you all for all your donations, all the time you spent hanging out with us, and just spreading the word. It's incredible what you guys were able to do.
Absolutely. The actually, let me bring it up. Let me get you the live count here, because I want to say our Facebook page reached so many people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the other thing is, I went to the wrong one. The other thing is that video that I had made, we had made that video and we posted it.
Yeah.
It's saying that 3,000 people watched that video.
That's awesome.
Right? 3,000 people. Some of the other things in here, I had the Facebook stuff, man. I'm so bad at it.
That's all right.
I can't reach it. Whatever. But I want to say that the Facebook page, reached almost 12 or 15,000 people.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right? Like, it's crazy. Which means that we shared it out. You took it, you shared it, and you told 2 friends, and they told 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. And the next thing you know, we had, like, I don't know, Duke, on your Twitch stats, but mine had said something along the lines of, I think my peak viewers that I had on stream were something like 48.
Yeah, it was like 47,
peak.
I think, is what I had. Yep.
And something like along the lines of, like, almost 700 unique viewers.
Yeah.
Which that's a massive stat,
yeah.
right? Like, unique means, like,
these are people.
If I'm on
every single person that had stopped by.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't count same household, right? So if I'm on and Mom Gaming Online pops on, that's still only one.
Yeah.
As far as it goes.
Or they leave and
viewers.
come back on, that's still one.
Still only one for unique viewers. That's it. So we don't count same household. So that means that up to, I think it was around 700 households, 700 people across the wherever it was that they were tuning in from,
Stop by,
had come
and
stopped just for at least a little bit.
Yep.
And that's 700 more pairs of eyes on Crohn's and Colitis Canada.
Yeah.
Truly was that.
And we were talking offline a little while ago, and just about how many people while we were streaming were like, "Oh yeah, I have colon issues, I have whatever issues," and it's like you with all the people we talk to and all the people I talk to in like regular everyday life, like I've got irritable bowel syndrome, stuff like that. It makes you wonder, like, what the percentage of people that have all these little disorders and diseases is. Mm-hmm. It's definitely way higher than I ever thought, because
100%
it's just something people don't talk about, I guess. But it's definitely, like, so many people do struggle with this stuff, and it's cool that people are now maybe realizing that they're not alone too. Like,
totally,
that there is
absolutely
large number of people that have these issues.
Yeah, I'll tell you honestly, I don't think there was a single person I spoke to about this event where I was like, "Hey, we're doing this thing. It's called Spectrefest. We're doing this thing. It's a 24-hour stream, blah, blah." I don't think there was a single person that I met that didn't follow that up with, "Oh, my insert whatever
Everybody
here
knows somebody
has
that
Crohn's,
has something.
right? Has colitis." The one lady I had spoken to, her daughter has had it since she was like 17, 18 or something like that. Like, and the worst part is because there's no cure, this is a sentence that lands with somebody that they need to make a life change for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was reading a story about a 4-year-old who was diagnosed with it, right?
Oh my god.
Like, and it's like, that means that kid needs to learn how to manage this from such an early age.
Too,
yeah. And so it's crazy, and that is truly the driving force of wanting to do something,
Yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
that's what we were saying when we were speaking with the representatives of the charity, right? Like, just the fact, the ability to carry that flag and wave it and say, hey, we are here to act as a voice, and we see you, and we want to do everything we can to help you.
Yeah.
That means everything. That is the reason why we did this, and we did it all in memory of my older brother who was affected by ulcerative colitis, right? And that ended up being the kind of the spark to making
Get
this
it going.
thing. But I mean, just the sheer fact, our representative for Crohn's and Colitis Canada had mentioned in chat, the amount of money that we raised is 10% of the research grant that they require to send out to research the cure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I might be butchering that a little bit, so I apologize if I got that wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's what she had said.
Yeah, it was 10% of the grant. Yeah.
And it's like, I can't believe that that's something that we
contributed
as a community,
to.
not we, right? And I have to keep bringing that up because you guys helped us with that as much as anybody else did.
Oh yeah.
And so there it'll be in the list of like donations for Crohn's and Colitis Canada. Spectrefest helped make this research grant happen, which is like,
it's crazy.
Right? Like,
the other thing that I had to mention was, like, this really goes to show, like, everybody who knew Jason loved Jason. Like, and that's, I think, a big part of this whole thing's success too. Like, we've got our community, but there were so many people beyond that contributed, and like, holy shit, like, anyone who met Jason, be it online or in person or whatever, had nothing but good things to say about the guy. Like, he's one of the nicest dudes I had ever met, and he'd support you in whatever you ever wanted to do, and was always willing to give you advice for stuff. And I think the success of this is also a testament to his character as well. You know,
100%.
So
yeah, 100%. I had people reaching out to me from like the early days of Lakeland College when he started working there, and in most people, when you have that kind of separation, when you're not so close that you're best friends or something, you know each other, you know
of them kind of thing, right?
Know of them. They didn't. A lot of them didn't realize that Jason even passed away, and so while that's kind of sucky to have to
find out,
let you know, like, right? That's the news that I got to give you that way.
Yeah.
But the fact that they then turn that back around and go, well, you know what, we want to do this if this is in memory of him, and it's to support curing the disease that ultimately affected him that way, then we're in and we'll donate. And I mean, and some of those donations, like, I think the biggest donation we received was $500.
Yeah,
$500.
There's some nice,
right?
Juicy
Like,
donuts
one shot.
in there.
250s here.
Well,
a
then
lot
you
of
had
hundreds,
people donating multiple times throughout the thing too, right? Like, some guys were like, "Here's 250, now here's 100." Like, it's the same guy. It's like, holy shit, dude.
Yep.
We're so grateful. We're so grateful.
It's amazing, and that's exactly it, and ultimately why it's more you than us.
Yeah, absolutely.
We provided the conduit. You guys are the electricity, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is what it is. So, and I don't know. I find myself repeating thank you over and over and over again. Like, the other thing that I'm trying to do is respond back to everybody that did donate.
Oh, okay.
I don't think Tiltify lets me do that, but anyone who donated through our website, I've sent back responses.
Oh, cool.
Because I feel that at the very least, you deserve a personalized thank you from me and from Dookie to basically say, you know what, like, listen, thank you for making this happen.
All the time, your lights, all the time.
All the time. And thank you for supporting us.
Yeah.
And for those that didn't make donations, but we had people, I'm not exaggerating here. We had people join the stream at 10 a.m. when you started.
Yeah,
and they didn't leave
the whole
until
time.
11 when I left.
And that bumps us up the Twitch search results, which allows more people to find us easier, right?
It was so cool. And a lot of those people, I don't know if they even went to bed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, Bubs and Boz jumped on Valorant
like
with me 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 a.m., yeah.
Right? Which means they set their alarm to wake up to jump in with me.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just, it didn't have to be a monetary donation. The fact that you were there, that you shared the link, that you told anybody about it, every single bit of it is the reason why it was such a success, and why we're talking about redoing it next year too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? There was one thing that I said during one of my blocks, but I think it was at the like overnight block. So I don't know how many people know this, but the whole thing that got me into Twitch was actually I don't know if it was it you and Jason? It was Jason and somebody and me. And we were on Skype.
I was in there. We were playing Marky Mark.
Yeah, it was you. Okay. And I figured out a way, because my old capture device was called the Dazzle, and I figured out a way to have my consoles show up as my webcam in Skype. And so we were playing like these shitty Sega CD games, like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Make My Video,
money.
And like
gotta get it. Gotta get it.
I need money. Gotta get it. And like Tomcat Alley and shit like that.
Yeah.
And we had a blast that night. And I think Jason was like, you should just do this. You should just play video games and just joke around.
I think he was asking why you because we were streaming with Blurry Pro.
Yeah,
we were
but pretty much we were just
video.
doing like podcasts.
The podcasts.
Yeah.
And I think he was saying like, wow, you guys should have stayed with this.
Yeah.
And you like what you're doing, you should be doing that on Twitch.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, you're right.
And then it wasn't right away, but it was maybe a year or so after that night, and it was always kind of brewing in the back of my mind, like I think this would be fun. And then you start Twitch and you're like, it's just me here. But then Jason was like one of the guys that was just always there. Yeah. Like Jason and Face were always there. They were the two that were always there. If you look back at some of my old streams, like my Dragon Quest 3 stream on the Game Boy Color, the name of my monk was Spectre. Like I named my martial artist after him, stuff like that. But yeah, so my block 3 was kind of an homage to that. That's why I wanted to do the Sega Saturn block instead, because we did the Sega CD that night many years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And I wanted to do like kind of terrible Sega Saturn games, so I kind of set that block aside for that reason. And I was hoping that we'd keep some people around to see some terrible games, and we actually did. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
Clockwork looked pretty cool.
Clockwork Knight was good, yeah. But I mean, we had stuff like Bug. We had Bubsy 3D, which isn't a Saturn game, I guess. But yeah, we had some.
Still not great.
We had some with Sonic R, which I ended up actually liking, but it was known to be a terrible game. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. I got a lot of people ask me as part of this, like, well, we're really sorry to hear about your loss, and that's really too bad, and I'm like, you know what, like I have a choice, right? I can choose to be down the path of like, I'm sad, I don't want to think about that, I want to shove that away, which is there's
reasonable
days.
response.
His birthday was yesterday, and I felt like a bag of crap. I didn't want to do anything and talk to anybody. I was just doing my thing. But the thing is that doing this kind of stuff and making a point to really spotlight on it a little bit, to me is almost like therapeutic and cathartic in its own way, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in this picture right here, this is in memory of my older brother. A friend of both of ours, like Chris Kent, had drawn that, right? It's the same one that I've got here.
Yeah.
Right? Permanently placed on me. And it's just kind of, they serve as a reminder of like, look, you can sit here and you can be sad about it and, and be depressed or whatever. Or you can remember that what Jason liked doing the most was spending time with people, gaming, making those relationships, and that's evidenced by everybody that came out to support it, right? Like, I can't tell you the amount of donations that are in the between Tiltify and the website. So many people that are just like they were connected to Jason in one way, shape, or another.
Yeah.
Whether they be high school friends or
worked with each other,
coworkers or whoever it was that they were. And yeah, I can't say thank you enough. It was a really fun day too.
Yeah, it was.
The streaming was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think they did because
I
was dying.
I think so.
Like when I was watching you, I was dying laughing, and oh man, it was so good.
People really liked the spicy beans. I still have half of a bag here. I'll give you.
Yeah, I want some.
They're all
I
yours.
Try them, man. I threw out the spicy Doritos like immediately after. I was like,
oh, they're bad.
I hated them. They were horrible. They tasted like
you kind of struck out with the spicy chips.
None of them were spicy. They just all tasted like shit.
So we got to get you those Pacwos or whatever, those chip challenge brand.
Yeah.
Not the chip challenge.
No,
well,
not
you
the
can do
one
the
chip
challenge
challenge
if you want. But there's they make bags of them too, and they use the Blair's death sauce or whatever.
Oh, okay.
The hot sauce with the skull on it.
See, I used to see those ones that they were called spicy roulette or something like that. And
those are Doritos.
Yeah, but now I don't know because the Dorito regular spicy ones were kind of gross. So
I wonder if it was a limited edition thing.
Could have been, yeah. Because I was looking for those and I couldn't find those. So
stuff like that, I want to take away and come up with a few more things because I think those were things that really really worked with engaging. With
absolutely.
Chat. Right, people are donating $20 just to see me eat another one of those stupid jelly beans. And those things hurt. I'm not doing jelly beans again. I'm not. I won't do that. See them. Either that or I'm bumping the price way up because I got to tell you,
you should have done $50. I think instead of 20.
I should have, but again, it's another thing where I was like,
people coming,
$20. I mean, I was originally going to make it $5, dude.
Oh,
like all of my things were going to be $5,
man.
Everything was $5 because I was like,
you would have died.
I'm going to donate $20. So I was like, if I put it at $20, it should be pretty. No, there was like 3 at once.
Yeah.
That one, and so stuff like that. But I think next year I want to go sour instead of hot.
Oh, okay.
I think sour's a little more manageable. Yeah. Right.
Or get those Bean Boozled that are like gross. Like one tastes like rotten milk and shit.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get, but they didn't. They were sold out when I got there, and she was like, "Well, we have these, and there's the spicy ones." I was like, "Yeah, they're jelly beans. How hot could they be?" Boy, was I wrong.
Like I have a pretty high spice tolerance. That's why I want to try them because I want to see like if they're that bad.
No, they're all yours, buddy.
Because there was a couple of us where we were like, do you think it's just Mike or do you think they're that hot?
No.
And so I don't know. I want to find out.
So there's 5 flavors in there. Sriracha was the weakest, which it wasn't really hot. It just kind of tasted bad. It did have some heat to it, but it wasn't because it's not. I don't think it's supposed to be. I think at that part of the scale, it's just supposed to be tangy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then from there it went to jalapeno. I think. Jalapeno.
Then there was
which
cayenne.
Was a little bit spicier.
Is cayenne spicier than jalapeno?
Cayenne was probably the worst one out of all of them. It was the middle of the road, but what it wasn't super spicy. It was really peppery.
Oh.
So it just like you bit what and I could have cheated the system by just putting it in, being like, oh no, hot, and then spitting the bean out. But I chomped that thing down every single time, right? So I would put it in, I chew it up. The thing about the cayenne is that what happened was all the flavor goes into your saliva, into your spit, right? And so it's not hot. It's not hot at all. And then you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then you swallow it. When you swallow it, it was like I lit a match and I swallowed it. That's how hot it was. It was just pure burn, just burning, and that's all it was. And then from there was the habanero one, which was just hot,
habanero
just spicy.
Good, yeah.
And then there was Carolina Reaper, and
that's
that thing,
one,
man, that just about dropped me.
That would be scary.
That one just about dropped me.
That one, definitely. But.
That one, like, and it hurt. It hurt my mouth. And the other thing is, I wasn't prepared for spicy because I didn't have any milk in the house.
Ooh,
right?
Not in the house.
So I had nothing. I had no milk, no yogurt, no nothing. So I was having water and coffee. That's what.
That sucks.
I
So you're really not getting rid of the burn from even the first one.
No,
really, at the
no.
end of
Honestly, it just kind of hung around and eventually let off. And you can see it if you watch. I'm going through. I'm going to clip some of them out because I think it's funny. But you watch when I first get hit with that Carolina Reaper, my eyes start watering.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, oh God, I'm not going to survive this. And about 15 minutes later, that stopped and I started like calming down again. And then someone friggin' donated right at that point and went right back up to the top again. So, that was a lot of fun. People really enjoyed that. I think that was a big takeaway from their perspective. So that's something for me to think about for the next go too.
I think my favorite part, and I told you this, but my favorite part of the whole thing was when you were. I was actually like, because during my stream I was wearing this Mega Man thing, like sweater and stuff. I was getting so hot. So during your block, I jumped in the shower because I was like all sweaty and shit. And I just remember coming out of the shower and I had my phone on and I had the stream playing on my phone. And all I heard was, "It's in the spit! It's in the spit!" And then everybody in chat is like, "EA Sports, it's in the spit." And I was like dying laughing. And then all of a sudden, someone puts another donation in, and you're still on fire, and it's playing this happy Diddy Kong music because that's what the tune was. It was like, and you're like crying while this music's playing, and then somebody cashes in the shark dance, and you're trying to dance with this shark, and I
had the clown wig on.
And you're like, raise the roof, shark man. That was the best part of the whole thing. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed the stream. I was worried that I wasn't going to make it through the stream.
Same, especially
but I gotta
near
tell
the
you,
end of my
the chat was so active throughout the whole thing that really it was those twilight hours that was the biggest dip.
Yeah,
I would say.
I was dying.
The 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. ish.
Yeah.
Period. Right. Those were probably the hardest ones. But with that being said, too, at no time was I like, "Oh, I'm not gonna make it." Right. Yeah. I was like, "No, let's keep going."
I hit that point. At about halfway through our what were we playing? Mario Kart. Halfway through Mario Kart, I was going down hard. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, when we started playing battle mode, I was like, I got to a point where I was like, should I just let him hit me so I can be done? I was dying, man. I was dying. But I got like no sleep the night before. Like, I don't know if you slept well the night before.
Not very well.
I slept like shit.
No.
And then I slept for like 2 days afterwards.
There is a big difference between us, and that is that I'm pre-programmed to be awake at all hours of the day and night now. So like, and that's what we were doing when we were splitting the blocks up. I was like, you tell me which ones you want me to do, because I've got no issue for any point in time. When my youngest is 3 now, and she's finally starting to properly sleep through the night.
Yeah.
But there's been weeks and months on end where it's like I'm up every 3 hours, and that's just how it is. So I've learned to ration my sleep over that period of time. And so when I had left block 2 and you started block 3, I stayed in chat for about half an hour, and then I just kind of did my thing where I just lay down, not really sleep, but just kind of rest.
Yeah, right? That's what I did during.
And then I was up and at her
when I was out of the shower or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, I was like, I want you to take the 4 a.m. I wanted you to finish it off. Like, I wanted you to be the last guy on. But also, I know I was not getting... Like, if I because I would have went to sleep, and there's no way I was getting up at 4 a.m. Like, I stay up till like 2 a.m., like, most of the time. So that late one made more sense for me, but... Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad we did it. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, it'd be really
good. And I thank you guys all so much for all your support and help.
No better way to say it.
Yeah. Well, was there anything else you wanted to say while we're here?
No. I think that pretty much covers it. Otherwise, we're gonna go on another 10-minute loop on how we should say thank you to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Again, it's tough because part of me does feel bad part of me feels bad for asking for a donation.
Yeah, I get that.
There's
yeah.
a small voice that's like, hey. But the thing is that it's for an amazing cause, and I know our community would only donate if they absolutely wanted to do so.
It was definitely
and so
something they were cool with supporting.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to shut that voice down, but thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Like I said, I will have a Castlevania top 10 Castlevania games video up at the end of the month. I finished Suikoden 2 last night.
Saw that.
So speaking of amazing soundtracks, by the way, that game also had a freaking amazing soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
I'm taking a break from JRPGs for a little bit. Going to be playing the Bloodstained games, and then we'll be jumping into Grandia 1 on the Saturn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, guys, be sure, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe, give it the old thumbs up so more people can see it. If you want to watch this on Spotify, just search Luminaries of the Livestream or Relaxed Retro Talk on Spotify. You can find us there. Follow Mike's channel, DG on twitch.tv/DG Online. I'm at twitch.tv/Dookie03. And we will see you guys again soon.
Have a good one.
Doing the test run, testing the sound, making sure it's matching my fucking lips.